published it in Business Standard, somebody published it in wherever, like, and we said, hold on, we're testing a feature with a small set of users, right? You don't understand A/B testing. That's what our product managers do. But when you make an A/B test, something that goes viral that way, right? You're like, hold on, should we pull this down or should we keep going? And then we said, hold on. I mean, this is it. Like, we stick to our guns. This is our principles of how we launch product. Pick up the phone, ask where is the problem? Where is he getting stuck? What is his issue? And maybe we try to solve the problem then opposed to sort of bringing it down and things like that. But these are not easy decisions. Trust me. When your things are going viral there, and you have to make a call, the first natural instinct is to bring it down. Right? Pause it. Don't let the problem magnify. And then we'll figure it out how to relaunch it. Right? That's the very natural. Trust me, and I have been close to making such kind of decisions. But then over time, I've become much more sort of, put a sort of much stronger stake in the ground. Anyway, so PMs really understanding the business, really understanding users, and putting a much stronger stake in the ground. If you have really made that effort to understand these two sort of the business and the ecosystem and the stakeholders / users, you can if you've really taken the effort to do that deeply, you can come with a very strong viewpoint on anything. When you don't do them as deeply and as strongly enough, then you don't have a very strong viewpoint. And that viewpoint can be challenged, it can be completely torn down. Because there are very strong people at Flipkart who will bring it down completely. Right? They'll ask the tough questions, you will not have the answers, boom. The next thing you know, either that didn't get prioritized or that didn't even see the light of day. Right? So that's why it's very important to understand these pieces, right? So then the third piece is like, are you able to take that and then form the vision for your product? Take these as key inputs of the competitive, analytical, all of that fall into that bucket of inputs, right? And taking all of that, are you able to form a vision? Like, are you able to sort of paint a picture like, where do I see this product 3 years from now? Can you tell a story? I don't expect like some heavy duty PRT or anything, right? It's just like, can you tell a story? Why are you passionate about that product? Where do you see that product 3 years from now? If you can't tell that story, it's going to be useless, right? Because if you don't think, nobody else is going to think, right? We all know that. If a product manager stops thinking, trust me, that product ain't going anywhere. There's no product. Some engineer is going to make some calls which can, doesn't matter. He won't even know who he's solving for actually. But anyways, so not to sort of manage it. That's the one axis. The second axis is more of the tactical aspects. Like, are you then able to take all of that and create the roadmap, and then are you able to execute? Execution is a whole different ballgame, right? That now that you formed the vision, you're able to tell the story, you've got the buy-in, everybody's saying, go and make it. Then what do you do? Like, can you sort of phase it out, create the right roadmap where you're sort of launching the product in the right phases, and are you then able to work with your engineering counterparts to articulating the requirements such and getting into the execution of it? Not everybody does it well, right? You again spiral there. You create the wrong product, you give the wrong requirements, something else gets built. And then you figure out, hold on, this is not what I really wanted, right? I wanted something else. And then you go back, you're spiraling again. So that's sort of, I would say, the tactical aspects of product management that we really push our teams to continuously learn. And then you are sitting right in the middle, right? It's trying to take all of that in and trying to create a coherent story. And trying to always push back where required, and move forward that you think is valuable, or if the feedback actually is good. Anyways, so that is not easy. It requires sort of that maturity of thinking. Again, if you've done all of what I said before, right? If you've done your homework well, and if you know all of the things that I guess you've also learned as part of this curriculum, next thing you know that feature got completely changed. Something completely different, or that meeting was a complete waste of time. Right? So consensus building, stakeholder management, communication, all of those pieces are sort of in the third axis, right? The softer pieces. So sort of very high level, that's how we structured the organization, that's how we structured the competencies that we expect of product managers. And that's how we at least try to develop product managers at Flipkart along these 3 different axes. Eventually leading to somebody who has tremendous amount of clarity of thought. Right? So, sorry, that was a long-winded story, but I thought I would give you sort of that perspective because, and all of this honestly has been, this is not, I myself honestly didn't have this clarity when I was a product manager at Yahoo.
How would you rate marketing in the success of your product?
Massive, right? I mean, that is part of, one of the aspects of product management actually is to take the product to market, whichever way you want. Right? So we are right now in the middle of a product launch where we actually have to brand it in a certain way, right? Marketing on it, they can help with the branding construct, they can help with the branding framework, but the content in terms of how should I think, who's the target segment for which I really want to build, and that segment really needs to get it. that this product should be called ABC versus DEF is something I expect a product manager to have a very, very strong point of view. So if you want to be a say, consumer experience guy for, I'm just taking Flipkart as an example because that's the easiest one for me to take right now, right? So you put yourself in the shoes of that user and you start challenging yourself. Like as a user, see, when we talk to users, I'll tell you this. Users, they think the experience is great. And then the product manager, if he just takes honestly that feedback, he is just going to sit there and not do anything. Honestly, the experience is not great. There are enough friction points there. But the point is, are you willing to look that deeply? Are you willing to scratch the surface and go beyond it to uncover that? For that, if you sat down with the Flipkart experience for 30 minutes, and if you said, let me think as a product manager, you can validate that friction point with few other users, you go solve it, right? I mean, honestly, in my opinion, products for consumer experience is the easiest thing because we are all users. It's only that, are you willing to think that way? You can't, just because you've done enterprise doesn't mean you can't do consumer, right? I mean, product management is product management in my opinion. At the end of the day, you need to understand those three things I told you, right? If you just have that mental framework and if you force yourself, I honestly think consumer experience is the easiest thing, but you have to really challenge yourself to think that way. Flipkart has built its own supply chain in this country, right? So we have what we call as sort of the biggest atomic unit is the warehouse, right? That is the biggest unit in size, in volume, and everything. From that warehouse, then we have these what we call as smaller sort of fulfillment centers, which are much more local. So think of a distribution network with this sort of the mothership in between, and then you have these smaller fulfillment centers connected to it. The whole objective being your delivery hub being the closest to the user. So that when the user makes an order, I can fulfill that order in the fastest possible time.